So working on the command line of my 1404 Ubuntu system, I already have the Perl scripts created, so we don't have to worry about spending a lot of time watching me type. If we go through and look at the first script that we're going to look at, with this we're just resolving then a host name to an address record, and this is the first script that we saw. Where we're importing the NetDNS resolver, this is included with the system, so we don't have to add anything else in. If I just jump out of this, of course we have to make it executable, so it's already set. But if I then go through and do dns.perl, we prompt for our host name, so www.pluralsite.com. And we see then we get the address records coming back. And we can of course format it in any way, shape or form that we want. So this is just looking at extracting the address record. Within our second script, when we go through and take a look at the start of authority Perl script, we see it starts off much in the same way, but in this occurrence, we're actually looking for the domain being passed as an argument through to the script. We set up our resolver in pretty much the same way, but then we go through and collect the start of authority record from each server. We then examine the answer and print out the serial number. So this can be really useful in trying to diagnose issues. When we jump out, if we go through and execute this, so if we don't specify an argument, we get our usage statement. That's all built into the code. But let's build in then the urbanpenguin.com. So we can see then the output from the name servers, and we can see then the serial number. If the serial number as well is specified in a date format such as this is, then we can also see the changes or the last change that was made through to the zone database. So we can see they all have the same serial number. That is then going to mean that they all contain the same data. And very quickly we were able to obtain this. If we're working with Python, then we can extend the functionality by adding in an additional module. So Python 3-DNS Python. Now my system is already installed, so I don't need to install it, but on your system you will need to install it. I've installed it because, like the other scripts, my Python script is pre-created, and if we go through and look at it, so we see then that we're importing the DNS resolver and creating an instance of our resolver, running through creating then an answers object from a query, and we've hard coded the query here, and then iterating through each one of those answers to print out the record. And again then when we go through and run this, of course it's hard coded for my Docker machine, but when we look at it, we can then get the IP address coming back. So with Perl we had the modules already installed, so we didn't need to do anything. With Python we did need to add in the DNS Python module. But adding in your own code and working with your own code isn't giving you just that good feeling of being able to create and manufacture your own code, but being able to get it to do exactly what you need it to do. So let's jump back now to the slide so we can finish up this section.